CAVEMAN Chang here, and welcome to my channel. This is the skill building video series where basically we pick certain problems that focus on building specific skills so that when you encounter these problems in the future, you know exactly what to do right away. Well, let's begin. Today we're going to be focusing on multiplication of two-digit numbers. So that's just 2 digits times 2 digits. Now there's a lot of different ways to go about multiplying it, but I'm going to focus mainly on two. The first one is actually more of a conceptual based multiplication, and the second one is more of a procedural based multiplication, where you would normally see that taught in schools. So for the first one, the conceptual one, what you're going to do is this. Since you're multiplying 2 digit by 2 digit, you're going to use the second 2 digit and you're going to separate them. One of them is going to be the ones and one of them is going to be the tens. That becomes two separate multiplication problems. You're going to multiply them separately. Then afterwards, you're going to add the results together. The end result is basically the multiplication of the two original numbers. Now, for the procedural one, it's based on this conceptual one, but you sort of jump steps or you skip steps. You're going to multiply all the numbers into ones. And before you start multiplying all the numbers into the tens, you're going to add a 0 at the bottom first, then multiply them. And then afterwards, you're going to add the two results together, and you're going to get your answer. So let's just demonstrate that and work through problems. So this is the problem we're going to work on first. 83 times 51. We're going to solve it in two ways. For the first one, we're going to solve it conceptually. Now this is based on the distributive property where you can break these guys down into two separate numbers, the tens and the ones, and then end up adding the result. So that's what we're going to do. 51, we're going to break it down into the tens and ones, which in this case is 50 plus, and the ones place is just 1. There we go. Now we have two numbers, hence two different multiplication problems. We're going to start off with 83 times 50. Well, in this case is what is that? That's 444 150. Check my math, I could be wrong on this one. So that's one of them. And the next one we have 83 times 1. Well, luckily for us, any number times 1 is just the number itself. So 83 times 1 is just 83. Now we have two different results. What we're going to do in this case is we're going to add them together. Well, 4,150 plus 83. Now that is about what? 4,233. And hence that's how we solve this problem conceptually. Now we're going to go through this problem again, except for we're going to use the second method. It's the one that you normally see in school, more procedural. So, well, let's just rewrite this problem again. 83 times 51 right here. And what you're going to do is the ones place, you're just going to multiply it all out. So 3 times 1 is just a 3. 8 times 1 is just 8. There it is. Now before we even begin to multiply everything to the 5s, you have to make sure you add the 0 here under the 3. So we have 3 times 5, which is 15. That's 5. 1 right here, just to make sure that we still have it, right? And 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 is just 41 in this case. Now we have these two results, and what we're going to do is we're going to add them together. That is a 3, 3, 2, and 4. Here is our answer. So hopefully you guys noticed this, that the second one is just basically very similar to the first one. But instead of separating them two and then adding them together, we end up combining them. And then the reason we put the 0 first before we start working with it, because we're actually multiplying it by 50 and not by 5. Hence we have to make sure there's a 0 at the end to incorporate the fact that we're multiplying by 50. Now for this problem, the second one, we're going to do the same thing. First we're going to solve it conceptually so we can see how it's broken down, and then we're going to solve it through the procedural or the school method. So here we have 64 and 27. We're looking at the second number and we're going to break it down into its tens and its ones. Well, in this case our tens is basically 20 and our ones is 7, so it's 20 plus 7. Once again, we have two separate multiplication problems now. We have 64 times 20. Well, what is that? That is 1280, so 1280. And then we have 64 times the ones, which in this case is 7. So 64 times 7. And what is that? That is 448. Once again, check my math. I could be wrong on this. All right. So now we have two of these together. We have the 1280 and we have the 448. We're going to add them together. Well, in this case, 1,280 plus 448 is, what is that? That is 1728, I believe. So double check my math. I believe this is the final answer. All right, so we're going to solve this problem again, this time with the more procedural method, or the one that you would normally learn in school, the school method. So let's just rewrite this problem very quickly. We have 64 times 27. Once again, we're going to focus on the ones and we're going to multiply it all out. So 4 times 7 is 28. So we have 8 right here. The 2 is going to be right here. And then we have 6 times 7, which is 42, plus the 2 is going to be 44. All right, so let's just cross this out because we don't want to get it confused. We're done with that. Now remember, before we even start multiplying it into the 2, or in this case the 20s, we have to make sure that we put a 0 here to remember that it is the 20, not just a 2. So 4 times 2 is 8 in this case, and 6 times 2 is 12. There it is. Now we have these two, and we're going to add them together. Well, this is 8, 2, 1 right there, 7, 1. So here's our answer, 1,728. Now, hopefully these two problems help clarify. Basically, choose any method you want as long as it helps you solve problems where it involves two-digit multiplication. Now, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.